If you're watching this pre-recorded on YouTube, you're here before the chat is, which means you're a sick fuck. How you doing? Oh, wait. Now we're demonetized. I cursed in the first 30 seconds, which means that if I'm demonetized, that means that you gotta fucking pay me. You gotta send me money. You gotta pay me. What up, Jack? How you doing, Pixel Wayne? What's good? What's good? What's good, everybody? Hello, hello. Hello. It's me. Let's set a goal. I'll do 2 truths and a lie. Start goal. There's our goal. Goal is set. All right. Hi, everybody. Thoughts on Marjorie Taylor Greene? I've got that queued up. We've got that queued up. I came prepared today. Folks. Hi, everybody. Hi, how are you? Welcome to the Valenti Videos broadcast. I'm your perfect and humble leader, Chris Valenti, and we've got a lot to cover today. So it's only 12:30 p.m. What is it? June 4th or May 4th? Sorry. June 4th. I gotta pay the rent. Hey, Siri. In 3 hours, remind me to pay the rent. Thank you, Siri. So far, what do we have for today? Well, Elon Musk is calling the big ugly bill. He's calling it a abomination and saying that anybody who voted for it should be ashamed of themselves, which is really ironic considering he was the one pushing for the bill to get signed in the first place, and considering that the bill actually benefits him. So my theory is that this is all a distraction that he's pulling. He's trying to appease to the left because A, he really wants to be popular again, but B, he's currently poisoning the air and water of Memphis, Tennessee with this XAI, this giant supercomputer that he's building where he's got like methane turbines going off. It's like shit straight out of Lex Luthor, you know. But yeah, we're going to cover that. Marjorie Taylor Greene is getting a lot of flack because she admitted that she did not read the big beautiful bill. None of them did. And that she didn't know about these AI provisions that allow for, just like no restrictions on AI. What else? We've got, what else do I have here? Yeah, the NAACP calls for an emergency shutdown of Elon Musk's supercomputer. We've got a lot to cover, and I'm sure that as we go on throughout the day, more stuff will happen. I wouldn't be surprised if while we're live, Trump finally responds to all of this, because he hasn't said a fucking word about Elon or about Marjorie Taylor Greene, about all the shit that he's getting. He hasn't said a goddamn word, which is very unlike him, you know, to not even post on like Truth Social. You're covering the guy not knowing that hurricane season existed, right? I didn't even know about that. If you have a clip if you have a YouTube clip, Jack, go ahead and send it. Anyway, before we get started, guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. That costs you nothing, and it helps me immensely. And always remember, this is real independent media. I have no funding. So if you do want to help support the channel financially, a couple of ways that you could do it are becoming a patron on Patreon. A massive shout out to all of my patrons. You can support the channel for $5 a month there. You can become a member on YouTube. Massive shout out to all of my members on YouTube. You can also do that for $5 a month. If you become a member, you'll get access to these cool ass emojis, and you'll get access to the Valenti Bros show, episode 2 coming out soon. And other ways to support the channel, you could buy some Valenti Videos merch right down below, and you can use the 40% off discount code for the Vantage subscription on Ground News, also located in the description below. But without further ado, let's start diving into the fucking news here. So one of the first things that I want to cover is this BBC article. Musk calls Trump's tax bill a, quote, disgusting abomination. Elon Musk has hit out at President Donald Trump's signature tax and spending bill, describing it as a, quote, disgusting abomination and a widening rift between the two. The tech billionaire posted on X that the bill would add to the U.S. budget deficit and saddle Americans with crushing debt. See, here's the thing. He doesn't actually give a fuck about that. Thank you for the $5 donation, Samantha. This is my point, is Elon Musk is not the average American. He's not going to be affected by any of this. The guy is almost a trillionaire, so you got to take everything he says with a grain of salt. Why is he saying what he's saying, right? Well, there's two reasons. One, all Elon Musk ever cared about is being popular. And how do we know that? I mean, the guy was faking his gamer stats because he wanted to be popular among gamers. You know, like, he's always been weirdly obsessed with being cool, you know? He's like, what happened to comedy? And then with, like, the chainsaw, like, he has this weird obsession. So that's going to play a role. But the second part is we've got these breaking news stories about, Memphis, Tennessee, where Elon Musk is this supercomputer working for his new XAI company, right? And he's using these methane turbines. And at first he said there were only going to be, like, 3 or 4 of them. And now there's, like, 12 or 15 of them. And there's people all over Memphis, Tennessee who are having pulmonary issues. They can't breathe. They can't speak right. And the thing is, Memphis, Tennessee is a very, predominantly black area. And this is not the first time that, our government has done fucked up shit to the people of Memphis, Tennessee. It's a never-ending tale. It's a tale as old as time. Trevor Mason with a $5 donation. Mama! Make America musky again. I love that. Anyway, let's keep on reading here. The tech billionaire posted on X that the bill would add to the U.S. budget deficit and saddle Americans with crushing debt. The budget, which includes huge tax breaks and more defense spending — by the way, these huge tax breaks are only for the 1% — and more defense spending was passed by the House of Representatives last month and is now being considered by senators. We got another $2 donation from OBK. It says, poopy, poopy, poopy. Thank you very much. Quote, shame on those who voted for it, said Musk, hinting that he may try to unseat the politicians responsible in next year's midterm elections. So I have a problem with this. What do you mean Musk may try to unseat the politicians? Let me say one thing to the MAGA people who may be watching this, okay? Thank you for the $10 donation, Missing Space. We'll keep the ball rolling. Love you all. Happy Pride and Men's Mental Health Month. Here's the thing, guys. I don't care if you voted for Donald Trump. I don't care if you voted for Kamala Harris, but you did not vote for Elon Musk. Elon Musk is a foreign-born billionaire, okay? He is not one of us, and he should not have any sway in our politics. Not only should he not have sway in our politics because he's foreign-born, but also, why are billionaires capable of just swaying elections like this, unseating politicians responsible for even if I agree with the people he wants to unseat? You're not one of us, my brother. Sorry, hold on. All right. So, what was the name of that person who doesn't know what, what's it called? Who didn't know what hurricane season is? Just give me the name and then I'll be able to find the link. What's the over-under on a coup salt? Probably 100%, right? Trump's appointed to FEMA. Okay, so head of FEMA. Head of FEMA doesn't know about hurricane season.
And Kelly, while we have you, let's talk climate here. So the Atlantic hurricane season we now know is underway. The White House is responding to something that was said by David Richardson. He's the acting FEMA administrator. Little background: during a meeting Monday, he said he was not aware of the hurricane season. He then said he was joking. What are we learning about all this?
Well, of course, the hurricane season is something that gets a lot of attention.
What's his name? David Richardson. He said it to all of his staffers. So is there a video of it? No?
The FEMA head said he didn't know the U.S. had a hurricane season, shocking staff. But the Department of Homeland Security said he was joking. Here's what we know. David Richardson, the acting head of the Federal Emergency Management Agency, said he was not aware of the American hurricane season, which started on June 1st. The comment made at a briefing on...
Is this guy not American? No, he is. He's from Michigan. How you doing, Godzilla? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? He's from America.
On June 2nd and reported by Reuters, confused staff who were unsure whether Richardson was joking. In a statement, a DHS spokesperson said, quote, "Despite mean-spirited attempts to falsely frame a joke as policy, there is no uncertainty about what FEMA will be doing this hurricane season. FEMA..."
Bro, fucking Trump denied emergency FEMA funding to Asheville, North Carolina that got devastated by the last hurricane. Like, what are we talking about? What the fuck are we talking about, bro? He doesn't give a shit. Anyway, let's get back to this story here. I want to finish this one up. Shame on those who voted for it, said Musk, hinting that he may try to unseat the politicians responsible in next year's midterm elections. Let me crank up my volume just a tad bit to right there. Is that good? Is that good volume? Yeah, that's better. The bill has the backing of President Donald Trump, and it would be the legislative linchpin of his second-term agenda if it passes Congress. Musk left the administration abruptly last week after 129 days working to cut costs with his team, known as Doge. The comments mark his first public disagreement with Trump since leaving government, after having previously called the plan, quote, disappointing. The South African-born tech billionaire's time in the Trump regime came to an end on the 31st of May, although Trump said that, quote, he will always be with us, helping all the way. In its current form, the bill, which Trump refers to as the big, beautiful bill, has been estimated to increase the budget deficit, the difference between what the government spends and the revenue it receives, by about $600 billion in the next fiscal year. If it's Musk's last day, what has he achieved in the White House? Dude, this is so bad. This is so fucked. He's such an idiot. Also, guys, tonight at 7 o'clock, Zohran Mamdani is going to be debating Andrew Cuomo in the mayoral debate for the mayor of New York City. It's like Gotham, baby. It's like Gotham over there. So we might watch it. Yeah, I'm thinking of doing some live commentary. You guys down to do some live commentary? We can make a game out of it. We got to figure out what things do we think Cuomo would say. We'll keep count, because I think Cuomo will often bring up peace through strength. I wouldn't be surprised if Cuomo continues to say peace through strength. What do you actually think is going to happen over the next few months? I think that a couple of million people are going to be deported without due process, and we're not going to find out where they went. It's probably going to lead to the largest protest era in American history, which will then lead to Donald Trump invoking the Insurrection Act of 1807 and declaring martial law nationwide after, maybe after July 4th or something like that. With the news of a possible Office of Remigration, if you were a naturalized U.S. citizen, Mexico nationality, when would you start seriously considering leaving the U.S., if at all? I don't know, man. You probably should have fucking considered it already, you know. Probably consider it. Do you see an end to this insanity, too? Yeah, I do. I think Trump is so out of his fucking mind. I don't know if he'll, I think the 25th Amendment will get invoked at some point. I think he's so out of his mind that even Republicans are starting to jump ship on him. I mean, we're seeing it left and right. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Elon Musk, a lot of the Republicans who signed that bill. Fucking everybody's jumping ship. He's a fucking loser. He's an idiot. He's an idiot. It's remarkable how terrible of a president he truly is. Fuck is this? If this is locked in a paywall, I'm gonna be pissed. Look at this. Look at this article. Washington Post. A drone strike devastated Russia's Air Force. The U.S. is vulnerable too. We talked about this. The audacious attacks on Russian airfields highlight the power of unconventional asymmetric warfare and the threat to U.S. strategic bases and ports, experts say. Look at this. Look at this. The Pentagon should be very worried about this. Senior fellow at the Center for New American Security Forces focuses on drone warfare and nuclear deterrence. A Ukraine-style attack using drones hidden in shipping containers or trucks could very well happen on U.S. soil or against U.S. air and naval bases overseas, she said. Well, don't be giving them ideas, bitch.
An army of smuggled drones from Ukraine attacked deep inside Russia. The offensive caught Moscow and the world by surprise, and it all happened the day before the countries began peace talks. This secret mission, dubbed Spiderweb, took 18 months to prepare. It involved over 100 drones hidden onto the back of trucks, driving them thousands of kilometers inside Russia, some as far as Siberia, and parking them near Russian air bases. On Sunday, a remote opened the roofs to the trucks, and drones flooded out, pouncing on the nearby aircraft. Ukrainian officials claimed dozens of Russian heavy bomber planes were damaged and destroyed, equaling $7 billion in damages. Many of the attack details are still not public, but what is clear is it exposed weaknesses in Russian defenses, and it came at a crucial time for Ukraine to claim a victory. Russian forces have been advancing into Ukrainian territory and pounding cities with some of the biggest drone and missile strikes of the 3-year war. Remember, on the campaign trail, President Trump promised to end this war in 24 hours. In February, he had warm words for Russian leader Vladimir Putin, and he clashed with Ukrainian leader Vladimir Zelensky.
You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III.
But as fighting intensified and his ceasefire goals seemed further than ever, Trump's tone changed. In a social media post last week, Trump wrote of Putin, he has gone absolutely crazy.
Let's read that post real quick. Luigi! I've always had a very good relationship with Vladimir Putin of Russia, but something has happened to him. He has gone absolutely crazy. He's needlessly killing a lot of people, and I'm not just talking about soldiers. Missiles and drones are being shot into cities in Ukraine for no reason whatsoever. I've always said that he wants all of Ukraine, not just a piece of it, and maybe that's proving to be right. But if he does, it will lead to the downfall of Russia. Likewise, President Zelensky is doing his country no favors by talking the way he does. Everything out of his mouth causes problems. I don't like it, and it better stop. This is a war that would never have started if I were president. This is Zelensky's, Putin's, and Biden's war, not Trump's. I am only helping to put out the big and ugly fires that have been started through gross incompetence and hatred. Copy that, Doland, you dumb fuck.
And in recent weeks, Trump's shown growing frustration with an end to the fighting.
The Golden Domes! Those are the Golden Domes. Yeah, no, I mean, Trump doesn't want to end wars. Trump would find much more fun in starting the war. You know, like way less drama. Start a war, that's easy. End the war, now that's hard. Now that's fucking hard right there, you know. You see a little bit of the crazy shit right there, if you do say so myself. If I do say so myself. Got a couple of reposts. This is the shit. Can I mute this? This is the shit that I've been telling you about. Okay? And now this is from Now This Impact, okay? The Hodge twins, major, like, this is what I've been telling you about, is that major Republicans, all their pundits are going to start abandoning Trump one by one over this. Don't know if this is true, but I did not vote for it, the Hodge twins. Nick Fuentes. Trump's promotion of Palantir is the ultimate betrayal of his own people, feeding every, quote, MAGA extremist into an AI database controlled by CIA Mossad cutout. Seriously, if Palantir isn't the deep state, then what is? Don't let this fool you into thinking that Nick Fuentes is a good guy. He's a fucking Nazi. But let it be known that even the fucking Nazis have a problem with this. People are so quick to suggest that I flipped on Trump. No, I didn't flip on Trump. Trump flipped on us. I'm just not willing to continue living in a, quote, lie, and I will tell you the unfortunate truth about it. That's Patriot Voice. Tom Renz, this appears to be both true and scary. Hodgkins, I love Trump, but this is terrible. Beginning to think it all started when DJT walked down that escalator before 2016. Redneck common sense. Dark MAGA HQ. Maybe it's time we rise up and remove Trump. He is refusing to arrest anyone. He is refusing to release the Epstein list. He is building this now. It seems man is dangerously close to a trade at this point. And look, these guys are fucking nuts. These guys want to remove Trump because he's not arresting anyone. And when they mean anyone, they mean people like you and I. They mean like literally lock up Democrat leadership. This is going to be a centralized platform of American civilians and tracks them. Then yeah, quote, we're going to have issues with this. They already have information on all of us, but I did not vote for this either. This is not what we voted for. It is not something consistent with MAGA. Very disappointed in your choice here. So these people are finally starting to wake up simply because this will affect them. See, they had no problem with the Gestapo roaming throughout the streets and snatching people up and separating families and deporting people with no due process and sending them to a slave labor camp in El Salvador. Why? Because those people were brown. This is the first example of a Trump policy that is actually going to affect the white, Christian, God-fearing, redneck Americans. So now and only now do they actually have a problem with what is happening around them. Oh, Jesus Christ. Welcome back to reality, you stupid fucking bastards. You will be welcomed, but you will not be forgiven. Dumbasses. Unfucking believable. Unfucking believable. Crazy shit, gang. Crazy shit. Let's see what we got on news here. Breaking news. All right, so top stories. Nope. Trump's 50% tariff on foreign steel and aluminum come into effect. Trading partners around the world express anger. Oh, I got to get the clip of Canada's...
Today, my cabinet colleagues and I met to discuss Canada's response to the latest developments in the trade crisis. Yesterday, in the latest salvo in his trade war, nothing is to protect and minimum impact and worried about the future. Because I understand
I want this other video.
All right, so you all...
Hi, Kyle. Dean Blundell. What did you feel just now, Valenti? What? Fuck are you talking about? There we go.
That Canada can succeed in a drastically different world. The old relationship we had with the United States, based on deepening integration of our economies and tight security and military cooperation, is over. We will need to ensure that Canada can succeed.
Dude, this is our oldest fucking ally. That's so fucking insane. This is our strongest ally. What the fuck is this? Oh, these are the bombers. Yo, this is fucking crazy. Bro, these fucking drones are so scary. Because there's just so many of them, and they're so small. Like, what are you even supposed to do about that? Why are there tires all over these things, by the way? Anybody know why the fuck they're putting tires all over them? Extra weight? Oh, okay. It's fucking windy. Yeah, it's crazy that war is now like live streamed, you know? All right, Marjorie Taylor Greene under fire for admitting she missed AI provision in the GOP tax bill. Also, this is what happens when you speak out against Marjorie Taylor Greene at her town hall. Check it out.
No, I was trying to get you.
Well, welcome everyone. All inside the interior of the United States. You can head out. The protest is outside. Thank you very much. Protest is outside.
You butch body bigot.
Bye. Have fun out there. Do you see
That's crazy. Hold on. I'm going to go grab a protein bar. Look at this fucking thing. Look at this fucking thing. Unreal. What is it? I ain't fucking telling you. They gotta sponsor me first. There's also peanut butter in it. And caramel.
Leave when you get rid of the people that are supposed to carry out those investigations. How are you to assure that those kids will not continue to be harmed? We are talking about so many situations in where kids are being discriminated against, and you got rid of the people that investigate those investigations so those kids can protect themselves from discrimination.
Well, we still have a very strong and capable staff in OCR.
Then you wouldn't have a backlog if that was the case. There is a current backlog, and I would love for you to stop just saying words and to actually do the work that you are charged by statute, and I yield back.
I thank the gentlelady. I recognize now the gentleman from Pennsylvania, Mr. Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Secretary McMahon, for being here today and for your continued public service to our country. As you likely know, I've co-chaired the Bipartisan Career and Technical Education Caucus for more than a decade, and I'm proud to be the champion for CTE here on the Hill, alongside my good friend, Congresswoman Bonamici. Madam Secretary, during your confirmation hearing, I was glad to hear about your commitment to providing more alternative pathways to traditional four-year degrees, leaning on career and technical education to help achieve that goal. As the author of the Strengthening Career and Technical Education for the 21st Century Act, signed into law by President Trump in 2018, I'm thrilled to see the growth and the success of these programs. Typically, when I visit these programs today, I see waiting lists. I see schools actually investing in bricks and mortar to expand their footprint to be able to accommodate more secondary and post-secondary students. Really working to restore rungs and a ladder of opportunity for so many. Today, a record nearly 12.5 million students nationwide, a number that's continued to grow since 2018, are served in career and technical education programs. At the secondary level, students are graduating from CTE pathways at an amazing 96% rate, far higher than the national average. High school CTE concentrators are also more likely to be employed full-time and have higher earnings 8 years post-graduation than their counterparts. Great pathway to success in life. Madam Secretary, would you agree that CTE programs help incentivize workforce and skills development?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, the reason that we obviously know this information is and can track the CTE success and made positive reforms in 2018 was because of the data. Without good data, it's hard to make good decisions as members of Congress. Now, I've written about this issue to you before, but I'm still concerned about the department's decision to cancel the National Evaluation of Career and Technical Education under Perkins. This 5-year evaluation was mandated by law in Perkins 5. It was set to be completed this year as Congress begins our work to reauthorize Perkins. It's time to do Perkins 6 here, reauthorization time. And when you reauthorize, you want to refine, you want to improve, you want to maximize opportunities. We need data to do that.
They don't like data. They don't like research. They don't like science. They don't like college. They don't like education. They want everybody fucking stupid.
So, Madam Secretary, how does the department plan to ensure there's still a national level evaluation infrastructure in place to support evidence-based policymaking in CTE while not losing the nearly 5 years worth of data that's already been collected?
They're not gonna, bro.
Well, we're going to continue to collect the data that we need to collect, and we want to make sure that the Perkins program I think as Congress, we want to provide to you the best data that is possible. So we have made some changes in some of the educational data collecting that we're doing. I'm not sure, as I sit here at this moment, if that's really pertinent to the Perkins data so much as it was the NAEP scoring and other educational policies. And I'd like to get back to you after I clarify that.
Yeah, that'd be great, and I look forward to working with you because it would cause me concern that on year 6.
These fucking people are so annoying.
If we will have a ceasefire, this short one, before leaders, I think that this is, first of all, this is a mood and spirit of the meeting will be that we are speaking about peace or we're beginning from the war. We don't need to wait from Putin, especially from his person. We don't need to wait the time when he will be ready for the peace. And from him, we can't wait for his initiative moving to peace. We just have to pressure on him, and maybe we will get peace. And we are very close to this with sanctions and etc. But we need unity in it and joint position.
But he didn't say, this is not correct. He didn't say he wants to meet with Putin. He didn't say it. He didn't say that at all. What are we talking about? Zelensky had previously challenged Putin to meet him in Turkey, but Putin stayed away. Russia and Ukraine have established red lines that make a quick deal unlikely. Putin is probably so afraid that if he actually shows up to meet Zelensky, Zelensky would pull some crazy shit. Some absolutely crazy shit. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Slava Ukraini! Like, dude, I wouldn't even be surprised. I wouldn't even be surprised. Honestly, smart move on Putin to not meet with Zelensky. I'm dead ass. Smart move. I wish he would meet with him, but very smart move. $10.9 million more people are projected to lose insurance in 2034 from GOP tax bill cuts. Fantastic. I love that. The Congressional Budget Office estimates an increase of 10.9 million people without health insurance under President Donald Trump's big bill, including 1.4 million people who are in the country without legal status and state-funded programs. The package would reduce federal outlays or spending by $1.3 trillion over that period. You hear that, guys? Fuck your health care. Not only are we not going to move forward with universal health care, we're going to do universal no health care. Welcome to Trump's America. Make America great again. Isn't that just fantastic?
I've seen lots of conjecture out there, but I wouldn't put much stock in that. I told all the members on a conference call this morning that this is a consensus building operation. It's been a bottom-up process. That was what everybody wanted. That's what we've delivered.
Well, I'm pretty sure you know all about bottom-up, don't you?
And we're almost there. And
by the way, this is the same guy who has an app on his phone and his son's phone to monitor each other's porn usage, so they can keep tabs on how much porn they're watching, what porn videos they're watching, which categories they're into. He and his son have this on their phones. That is confirmed.
And I'm very optimistic that we will find the right equilibrium point to get this bill delivered. This is arguably the largest and most comprehensive piece of legislation that Congress has worked on in probably generations. One of the most in the history of the country. There's a lot of moving parts and a lot of preferences and ideas on how to handle all that. And so we anticipated all through the process that we would come to this point and there would be some minor modifications in a manager's amendment to clean up things. We got a few issues to resolve, but we're working with all the interested parties to do that, and I'm confident that we will.
Mr. Speaker, are FMAP changes off the table?
I've seen lots of
So here's the thing about the big beautiful bill, or the big hideous bill, is this is what happens when you make like a 350-page long bill that encompasses everything from AI to tax cuts to health care to Social Security to military spending, is that congressmen and congresswomen are not going to read it because they're actually lazy pieces of shit. And I actually wouldn't be opposed to new legislation that makes it like, I don't know, like every single congressperson, member of the House of Representatives, Senate, senator, every single one of them should be forced to read the bill on live TV. You know, like how they have like the Senate building, they have C-SPAN cameras in there. They should give these people food, give them water, give them bathroom breaks, whatever. But there should be a constant live stream on every single one of them, and it should take hours and hours and hours. And I want to see every single one of them read every single word of the bill. If you are an elected representative of me, you represent me, and I don't get a say on that bill, I would have fucking read it. Want to know why? Because it's going to affect tens of millions of people. You're an elected official. You're signing a document. Read it. Fucking read it. And we have proof. We have fucking proof. Marjorie Taylor Greene is facing backlash from Democrats after saying she wouldn't have voted in favor of President Donald Trump's tax and domestic policy bill if she'd known about the artificial intelligence provision included in it. The bill, which passed by a party line vote from the House on May 22nd, includes a provision that prohibits states from enforcing any law or regulation limiting, restricting, or otherwise regulating artificial intelligence models, artificial intelligence systems, or automated decision systems entered into interstate commerce for a 10-year period. This is a coup d'etat. Our government just got coup d'eta'd, not through military, but through the fucking stupidity, through the idiocy of the fucking dipshits in the goddamn government, specifically the ones in the GOP, who just signed away our fucking nation to AI technocrats like Peter Thiel, the one in charge of Palantir, and now rumors are spreading that Donald Trump is preparing to literally give the entirety of Washington, D.C. to Peter Thiel. Call it a freedom city, where every single person living and working in Washington, D.C. will be forced to work for Palantir, the mass surveillance company. I'm not kidding whatsoever. I'm not kidding whatsoever. Peter Thiel now owns Trump. New claims emerge amid Palantir's immigration OS. Peter Thiel's Palantir is reportedly shaping Trump's immigration and surveillance policies with over $113 million in federal contracts. That's not the real number. That's too low. The one man who holds sway over President Trump, Peter Thiel. Essentially, you have one man, Peter Thiel, who could literally control the president. Something Peter Thiel will never hear is no.
You have one man, Peter Thiel, who could literally control the president. There is no... Something Peter Thiel will never hear from a vice president or potentially a President Vance, something he will never hear is no. Ever.
Yeah, cost him $50 million. He's the one I'm watching.
Essentially.
So, in relevant news, this is from last month. Elon Musk XAI in Memphis, Tennessee, accused of pollution over the supercomputer. How come I can't breathe? This is also from like a month ago. City's dream promised jobs and money. Then they learned it was Elon Musk, $12 billion contract. NAACP calls for an emergency shutdown of Musk's supercomputer in Memphis. You are witnessing Actually, no, you're not witnessing it. It's over. The United States is a dictatorship. You live in a fascist dictatorship. Donald Trump is not the president of the United States. He is the dictator of the United States. Elon Musk may have left government, but he still pulled all the strings that he possibly could. He still has connections with Donald Trump. They got it in the bill that was pushed forward that will give no regulation to any AI whatsoever for the next 10 years. The United States just ended. It's gone. It's over. On the 250th anniversary on July 4th, that will be the final year of the American democracy. That's it. 250 years, that's how long we lasted. Welcome to reality. Welcome to reality. We're so unbelievably cooked. So unbelievably cooked. This content is age restricted. And you know what this is? This is this guy's video. It's also age restricted. Both of them, they're both pulled. These were videos about it being a dictatorship. That one, Jesus Christ, they're all being pulled. They're all being pulled one by one. That's so fucking crazy. What about this one? Oh my God. Those videos were about this nation being a full-fledged dictatorship. None of them loaded.
We have breaking news right now. According to The Guardian, ICE officials have been ordered to arrest more people even without proper arrest warrants. They've been told to get creative with arrests, including of undocumented people encountered by chance. This is a major heads up. ICE agents are now not only going to be arresting those with active criminal warrants, they're going to be arresting anyone who may incidentally be caught up in an ICE raid as well and may be undocumented. According to
you,
The
Nelson,
Guardian,
because you have an account. I have an account too, but I'm not logged into it on my computer. So if you don't have a TikTok account, you cannot see that video. That's fucking insane.
Immigration officials have told rank-and-file agents to, quote, turn the creative knob up to 11 when it comes to ICE enforcement activities, to interviewing and arresting what they're calling potentially collaterals, to, quote, push the envelope with the tactics that they are using. Quote, if it involves handcuffs on wrists, it's probably worth pursuing, one of the messages reviewed by The Guardian says. Be aware that immigration enforcement activities are ramping up, especially this week, this weekend, so spread the word. I'll do a full breakdown of this and more on my Substack, link to my bio, so subscribe for free and follow along for all the news.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
The Trump administration is now detaining legal residents who have lived here for half of a century. I'm not going to stop talking about these people, because if we do, they disappear forever, and you shouldn't believe anyone who says that fighting back on immigration is bad politics. So let me give you a quick rundown of some of the most alarming stories from just the last couple of weeks. Llewellyn Dixon is a 64-year-old woman who works as a lab tech at the University of Washington. She's been a permanent legal resident of the United States for 50 years. But when she returned from visiting family in the Philippines, ICE arrested her at the airport and held her in detention for 3 months. Marcelo Gomez de Silva, an 18-year-old high school student in Massachusetts, was on his way to volleyball practice when ICE pulled him over. Marcelo was brought to the United States as a child in 2012 and was given a student visa. He has no criminal record. But when ICE pulled him over looking for his father, he was arrested and detained. He was supposed to play in the band at graduation, but he's sitting in ICE detention. Also in Massachusetts, Samaran Faria de Souza, the father of a 4-month-old baby, was pulled over on his way to work when he honked at an undercover car full of ICE agents. They arrested him, detained him, and signed a deportation order in his name without his consent.
A man honked at an ICE car and was deported. They actually signed his deportation order for him. And you think you live in a free nation? You think there's going to be an election in 2028? You think your vote is going to be counted when they are deporting people for honking at ICE? You do not live in a free nation. You live in a dictatorship.
And he's now been deported to Brazil. And in Mississippi, a 31-year-old Danish man named Casper Eriksson, who's lived in the U.S. for 10 years on a green card, went to a routine appointment to finalize his U.S. citizenship. But after they discovered that he failed to file a single document more than 10 years ago, while he was still mourning the loss of his first child, he was detained by ICE. The Trump administration isn't deporting criminals or gang members. They're deporting students, neighbors, fathers, people who have lived here for longer than fascist Stephen Miller has been alive. We have to keep these stories in the spotlight, because if we don't, they'll continue using the cover of darkness to disappear people and take more of our rights. So share this video and follow me to keep fighting back.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. When fascism showed up in America, it did not come goose-stepping and sig-heiling. It came wrapped in the American flag, singing the national anthem. That's how it came. They stole the word patriot. They stole the national anthem. They stole the flag. They guise themselves as patriots when they are no patriots. They are enemies of the state. They are enemies of the American people. They are enemies of freedom and democracy. These people are your enemy. They are not somebody you can debate with. You said to look up White House July 4th or June 4th? Somebody said somebody said something about look up June 2nd or June 4th, White House, something like that. I can't find the message no more. ICE in San Diego? I did. Hold on. Guys, chill. Don't be fucking stupid. What is that, the only clip? There's got to be better clips.
Days after an ICE raid at Bueno Forchetta in South Park, today lawmakers are demanding answers on why the operation was approved by the powers that be in California.
This evening, we're also learning new details about the warrants that were issued for some of the workers at that restaurant. NBC7's Shelby Bremer is live from South Park with what we're learning today. Shelby.
Yeah, Monica, Mark, just in the last hour or so, we did get a copy of that search warrant. And it says that this actually all stemmed from a tip received in November 2020 that the owner was allegedly employing people that he knew were undocumented. The tipster says, according to the warrant application, that the owner was actually also treating those employees poorly. Now, we did reach out to the restaurant multiple times today, but have not heard back. Still, we spoke with members of Congress who say that they're upset with the way that this operation was carried out.
Federal agents deploying flashbangs against an angry crowd.
was carried out. Federal agents deploying flashbangs against an angry crowd surrounding an immigration enforcement operation at Buona Forchetta. South Park residents drawn outside, chanting at the agents we now know were executing a search warrant at the popular Italian restaurant just before the Friday dinner rush.
Take his fucking mask off.
Why in the world would a judge sign off on that?
Congressman Juan Vargas joined by several Democratic colleagues in denouncing the operation.
There's been some talk about terrorism, and I want to say these ICE agents are not terrorists.
Yes, they are.
I think it's worse than that.
Homeland Security says 4 people who are undocumented were taken from the restaurant. Lawmakers say it was 3 Mexicans and 1 Colombian, with no mention of a criminal history in that warrant.
Dishwashers, busboys, maybe a cook. This made our community no safer, made it less safe.
Homeland Security says the crowd became unruly and the flashbangs were deployed for law enforcement to exit safely. The members of Congress also take issue with a request in the warrant to detain everyone, undocumented and American citizens alike.
Off everybody. The first 10 minutes, they don't give any explanation.
Buona Forchetta's owner says they're heartbroken and the wound is still raw.
Why were ICE agents armed to the teeth as if they were entering a war zone, storming restaurants?
Vargas says he's requesting a meeting with the chief judge of the Southern District of California to ask how and why that warrant was signed. But when it comes to further action,
the 2 biggest tools that I think we've got are communication and litigation.
Several members pointed to oversight, rallying public pressure, and little else.
But the truth is we lost the election. A lot of people say, why aren't you changing the law? Well, oddly enough and interestingly enough, because we didn't win. That's why.
Now, the warrant application says that Homeland Security was actually searching for a total of 19 people accused of submitting fraudulent green cards. They noted that that's nearly half of Buona Forchetta's employees. Now, we did, again, reach out to the restaurant multiple times and have not heard back, and they're actually closed today and tomorrow. Reporting live in South Park, Shelby Bremer, NBC7.
Thank you, Shelby. A fourth grader from Torrance behind bars tonight being held by ICE after going to an immigration hearing with his father. Tonight, teachers and community members at his elementary school are coming together to bring Martyr Lara home.
Mary Beth McDade live in Torrance with more on how Martyr ended up in detention. Mary Beth.
Hello there, you guys. Yes, Torrance Elementary is winding down for the school year. Many students getting their final grades and their summer reading list. That is, except for one 4th grader. The PTA president says that he went with his father last Thursday down to Texas for a hearing on their immigration status. And then after that hearing, they were separated and detained. No doubt a very scary situation for a little boy.
Trump is turning the White House lawn into a golf course? No shot.
Torrance Elementary received word that one of their students, a 4th grader named Martyr Garcia Lara.
Chris, thoughts about the Boulder incident? Went to school there. I went to Boulder as well for college for a couple of months. I was talking with people and seeing a lot of misreporting update. Now they are processing the family of the attacker for deportation. What? What? That's fucking crazy. Yeah, no, I mean, listen, what happened in Boulder is terrible. It's a terrorist attack. But you can't deport a wife and child because of the crime the father committed. That's fucking insane. Sco buffs. That's fucking insane.
And his father, Martyr Garcia, are being detained in Houston, Texas by ICE agents.
They drove to Houston, Texas to attend to a court hearing.
MAGA dictatorship here now. I know, it's fucking terrible.
From what I've been told is that after the court hearing, the dad was detained by ICE and the son was separated and also detained by ICE. And he's alone. He's not able to return home.
Teachers at the school apparently...
Justin Peterson's account is 5 minutes old. Yep, welcome back, Koofs.
...reached out to PTA President Jasmine King and the rest of the PTA asking for aid in getting Martyr...
Oh, that's a good thing, brother. Yeah, I know, Koofs. You support having a fucking dictator. Dude, Koofs, we are all aware that you are gay for Donald Trump. You want to cradle his nuts and throat his cock. We're aware. This is the 7th account you've made here, brother. We're all aware.
Released and back to school in Torrance.
We found out from our school staff that they needed help getting him back home. They didn't know how to get him here. So we've been contacting our
Why is he so obsessed? He's got no family.
Our local government to help us try to get into contact with Houston and see if there's any way we can bring him home to California.
The PTA has reached out to their federal, state, and local leaders for help and are asking others to do the same.
We have not received any information about why they were detained. All we know is that Martyr was just a fourth grader, 9 or 10 years old, by himself, without his dad, without a parent, and just in a place that he probably doesn't know.
Is he still here? I want to ask him what he thinks about the fourth grader being detained. I want to see. Koofs, he still here? Or did we ban him already? Koofs, you still here? What do you think about the fourth grader getting detained by ICE? Thank you for the $20 donation, Missing Space. I'm a man of my word, Nelson. Here's that $20, I bet. Koofs is just a money machine for you, Chris. I know. I'm MAGA here, not. What the fuck does that even mean? MAGA fanatics and spend all day in live spitting misinfo because daddy got their job and pays their rent so they have the time. Yeah, I mean, some of them.
He's been a student at Torrance Elementary since the first grade, so we can only imagine what he might be feeling.
And the PTA president says that they are prepared.
Bro's really making it a golf course? No fucking shot. What?
U.S. Open less than 2 weeks away. Two-time champion Bryson DeChambeau getting ready by practicing where else but on the White House lawn. Trump communications advisor Margot Martin posting this clip to X yesterday showing Bryson getting a few strokes in on the small green near the West Wing. Trump and DeChambeau, they've played golf together multiple occasions.
Guys, I'm pretty sure the White House has always had like a putting green. I'm frankly certain it's always had a putting green. Yeah, the putting green was first installed in 1954. Dwight D. Eisenhower. It was removed in 71 and then restored in a different location from George H.W. Bush and moved to its current spot under President Bill Clinton. Of all the shit that Trump's done, that's not the fuck that ain't even crazy. That ain't crazy at all. Oh, Koofs finally answered about the kid. Was his parents here illegally? I have no idea. I'm asking you about what do you think about him being detained by ICE? Not his parents, not his dad, not his mom. What do you think about the fourth grader himself who was born on U.S. soil, I think? What do you think about him being detained by ICE? Okay, man, I'm not a nice agent. I'm not asking you about the legality. I'm asking you how you feel about it. How do you feel about a fourth grader being detained by ICE? For fuck's sake, dude.
A fourth grader from Torrance behind bars tonight being held by...
Here, this kid. How do you feel about this cute little kid getting fucking detained by ICE and thrown behind bars without his parents? I think that's fucked up. Why can't you say that's fucked up? That's messed up, kinda. Yeah, dude. You don't need to add the kinda. That's fucked up. He's a fucking fourth grade. What is this kid, a threat? What is this kid, a threat? What do you think this kid's gonna do? Fucking slap you? The fuck are you talking about, dude? He's a fucking 9-year-old kid. J.D. Du Bois, J.D. Du Bois, J.D. Du Bois. Yeah, what's it gonna do? Bite your fucking ankles? We make mistakes. Bro, this wasn't a mistake. This was on purpose. This was not a mistake.
ICE after going to an immigration hearing with his father tonight.
He went to an immigration hearing with his father. His father was at the immigration hearing, and the kid got detained. This is not a mistake.
Members at his elementary school are coming together to bring Martyr Lara home.
Mary Beth McDade live in Torrance with more on how Martyr ended up in detention. Mary Beth.
Hello there, you guys. Yes, Torrance Elementary is winding down for the school year. Many students getting their final grades and their summer reading lists. That is, except for one fourth grader. The PTA president says that he went with his father last Thursday down to Texas for a hearing on their immigration status. And then after that hearing, they were separated and detained. No doubt a very scary situation for a little boy. Torrance Elementary received word that one of their students, a fourth grader named Martyr Garcia Lara, and his father, Martyr Garcia, are being detained in Houston, Texas by ICE agents.
They drove to Houston, Texas to attend to a court hearing. From what I've been told is that after the court hearing, the dad...
Thank you for the $5 donation, Egghead. The same people who always want immigrants to come the legal way are the same people cheering for this to happen. It's pure hatred and racism all the way. Exactly. They're like, come here the legal way. This guy came here the legal way. He is going to a court hearing. He is mandated by law to go to this hearing. And he is still detained. It doesn't make sense. You can't have both things. You can't say come the legal way, but then also camp outside of fucking court hearings and take them before their court hearing is over. Doesn't make any sense. Notice all the kids' deported parents are here illegally. Dude, the guy wasn't here illegally. The parents were here legally. They were going to their court hearing for their asylum seeking status. Are you deaf? Listen, use your ears.
Torrance Elementary received word that one of their students, a fourth grader named Martyr Garcia Lara, and his father, Martyr Garcia, are being detained in Houston, Texas by ICE agents.
They drove to Houston, Texas to attend to a court hearing. From what I've been told is that after the court hearing, the dad was detained by ICE and the son was separated and also detained by ICE. And he's alone. He's not able to return home.
Teachers at the school apparently reached out to PTA President Jasmine King and the rest of the PTA asking for aid in getting Martyr released and back to school in Torrance.
We found out from our school staff that they needed help getting him back home. They didn't know how to get him here, so we've been contacting our local government to...
The other big story here at 10 takes us to...
Watch this one, Koofs. I want to see you support this with your whole ass chest.
It's gotten a lot of attention across the country. Federal agents arresting migrants after they show up for their immigration court hearings. Now, for some asylum seekers, the fear of being deported is getting more intense by the day. Our Ken Molestina meeting with one mother who says she is so scared that she's leaving voluntarily.
We've seen it several times in Dallas. Migrants in legal proceedings showing up to their scheduled court dates just to have an immigration judge dismiss their case and then be arrested immediately by federal agents waiting in the hallways. It's a new tactic by the Trump administration that's also playing out nationwide. In San Antonio, the scenes there much more dramatic, where some are seen and heard desperately begging for help. It was at immigration court in Dallas that we met a 22-year-old Venezuelan mother and her 5-year-old son. They didn't want to be identified, but told us.
¿Cuál es el miedo tuyo ahorita? What's your fear right now?
Que sea expulsado. That getting deported through the Trump administration's expedited removal process is her greatest fear.
Miedo tuyo es que te deporten a ti y te dejen a tu hijo aquí solo. Your fear is that you'll get deported and your son will remain here by himself.
El juez me dijo que mi cita era el día 1 de octubre.
She says the judge ordered her to return to the courtroom in October and told her to come by herself.
Ese día decidan mi expulsión. ¿Dónde va a quedar mi hijo? ¿Va a quedar en manos de quién?
She worries if she's arrested that day, she'll be separated from her son who doesn't have anyone else to care for him.
That's a much stronger reality now.
Sí, tengo miedo. No voy a asistir. Yo no voy a asistir a mi cita.
¿Estás segura? You're saying you're not
No
going
voy
to
a
come back?
asistir. Tengo miedo porque
She adds she won't be here for her next hearing. Instead, she's choosing to stop pleading her case altogether and leave the country with her son on their own and soon. Many more migrants are choosing this option, but others are skipping their hearings and they're opting to not show at all and go into hiding. It's a move that
So the Trump regime is quite literally creating more like criminals. They are making undocumented immigrants or legal permanent residents. They are making them fear their court mandated hearings, their mandated court hearings, because they're afraid if they go, they're going to be detained and deported, which means that if they skip their hearing, there's going to be a warrant for their arrest, which means it's a double-edged sword. This is probably intentional, you know. If you skip your hearing, well, now there's a warrant for your arrest, and if you come to your hearing, you're going to get arrested anyway. Of course Ben Shapiro's against Trump. They're all against Trump. Nick Fuentes abandoned Trump. Ben Shapiro abandoned Trump. The next one you're going to see is probably Charlie Kirk abandoning Trump. I made a whole video about Ben Shapiro abandoning Trump. Let's see if there's... What is there, any new stuff on it? Yeah, it's heads I win, tails you lose type shit.
In an extraordinarily rare moment of clarity, and then we will discuss.
Again, I'm not sure what he wants from Zelensky that Zelensky hasn't already given him. Zelensky has given him the immediate ceasefire. Zelensky has said he will go anywhere for direct talks. Zelensky gave him the rare earth minerals deal. And it's sort of both sides of him from the Trump administration and from President Trump is the reason why Putin is pushing. Okay, Putin believes he can get away with it.
So here's...
I mean, they're all abandoning him. It's only a matter of time. Everything is collapsing around Trump. I'm surprised Coos hasn't dropped an ICE or just following orders. That will probably be their defense once they're all prosecuted. Doug, welcome back. Doug, can we get some W Dougs in the chat? Or actually, fuck that. Can we just get some Dougs in the chat? Doug. 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 Fuck yeah, Doug. Doug. Hell yeah. Hell fucking yeah. Me and Charlie will never leave Trump, brother. Yeah, dude, I'm sure you won't, Koofs. You're a cultist. Are you admitting now that there is absolutely nothing Donald Trump can do to make you stop supporting him? Because you just said, where is it? You just said, me and Charlie will never leave Trump, brother, so leave Charlie out of it. Are you saying there is absolutely nothing Donald Trump can do that will ever make you stop supporting him? Any tips on how to help them turn their backs on the bigotry? Just start showing them clips. Most of the people who support Donald Trump just haven't seen the clips that we've seen. There is something he can do that make me not like Trump. All right, what is it, Koofs? What could Trump do that would make you no longer support him? Let us know. Come on, Koofs. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? Nah, Doug, you just put my soul in damnation, dog. If he went to war with Canada. So that's it? Literally, he could do everything else? Donald Trump could shoot you in the face and you live, but you would still support him? Trump intensifies statehood threats and attack on Canada. The U.S. president on Tuesday reiterated his claims on Canada's territory as he increased tariffs, threatening to bring the country's economy to its knees. Yeah, or if he unalives innocent people. Well, he has unalived innocent people. Do you only care if they're civilians? Because he is definitely responsible for killing a lot of innocent people. Granted, every single U.S. president throughout history is responsible for killing innocent people, but including Doug. No, I mean, if he go on the American people, then I won't. Koofs, in a previous live stream, you admitted that you don't care if he deports U.S. citizens to a slave labor camp in El Salvador. That is an attack on the American people. That's a violation of the Constitution. That is cruel and unusual punishment. That's a violation of the 5th and 14th Amendments. So you already said in a previous live stream that you are okay with that. Yeah, deport everyone but Doug and all the big booty Latinas. Leave them all to Doug. First time being here? No, it's not, Justin. Be so fucking for real, Koofs. So, we'll do this again, Koofs. Do you know that Donald Trump wants to deport U.S. citizens to a slave labor camp in El Salvador? Do you know that? Yes or no? Only if it's legal, and it's not, so he won't. So you know that it is illegal to deport U.S. citizens, yes or no? Do you know that it is illegal to deport U.S. citizens, yes or no? Yes, you know that. Okay. Knowing that it is illegal to deport U.S. citizens, would you support deporting U.S. citizens, yes or no? No. Okay. Knowing that it is illegal and you saying that you wouldn't support it because it's illegal, do you have any concerns over the President of the United States saying that he wants to deport U.S. citizens despite you knowing that it is illegal and you saying that you don't support that? So now I'm going to play this clip.
You mentioned that you're open to deporting.
And when the clip is over, you are going to tell me whether or not you still proudly support Donald Trump.
You mentioned that you're open to deporting individuals that aren't foreign aliens but are criminals to El Salvador. Does that include potentially U.S. citizens, fully naturalized Americans?
If they're criminals and if they hit people with baseball bats over their head that happen to be 90 years old, and if they rape 87-year-old women in Coney Island, Brooklyn, yeah, that includes them. What do you think? There's a special category of person? They're as bad as anybody that comes in. We have bad ones too, and I'm all for it because we can do things with the president for less money and have great security. And we have a huge prison population. We have a huge number of prisons, and then we have the private prisons, and some are operated well, I guess, and some aren't. But he does a great job with that. We have others that we're negotiating with too. But no, if it's a homegrown criminal, I have no problem. Now,
there you go. So now that you've seen that clip, do you still proudly support Donald Trump? He's going to say yes, by the way. Oh. Oh, Doug spoke for you. You're good. You're good, Koofs. Doug is another troll? No, Doug is a pretty consistent fan. Yeah, he's a troll, but he's a funny one. Doug is genuinely trolling. Yeah, we've done this dance a dozen times with Koofs. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I expected that. Fully expected that. Putin feels he must respond to Ukraine's drone attacks, Trump warns. Dude, Trump went running to Putin immediately. President Donald Trump said on Wednesday he had a good conversation with Russian President Vladimir Putin in a call about Ukraine's recent drone attack. If you're ever wondering why Ukraine did not inform the United States about Operation Spiderweb, this is why. This is why. Following Ukraine's major drone attack deep on air bases inside Russia, Trump reported that Putin told him Russia, quote, will have to respond. Trump also warned in a social media post that the phone call, which lasted more than an hour, would not lead to immediate peace. The two leaders also discussed Iran, and Putin suggested he could help with nuclear talks with the country. Hey, Koofs, what do you feel about Trump and Putin having this long phone call and buddying up and working together? What do you think about that? Do you like when Trump and Putin work together? Do you think that's good? Do you think that's cool? What do you think the chances of Putin letting off a nuke in Ukraine? Probably 50-50. Two superpowers working together. That seems okay with me. So they're not working together because Trump keeps on tweeting that Putin has gone crazy, and Putin is still conquering Ukraine. So they're not working together. But what do you think about Trump and Putin and having a phone call where Putin says he could help with the nuclear talks with Iran? Meaning like he's going to take over the negotiations. What do you think about that? Any thoughts on that? Let's also get Trump's Truth Social up. I think it's a nice gesture. They're both nuclear armed powers. Yeah, bro. You're so anti-American. It's fucking insane. What a fucking jackass. Our economy is plummeting. So many false statements are being made about the one big beautiful bill, but what nobody understands is that it's the single biggest spending cut in history by far. There will be no cuts to Social Security, false. Medicare, false. Or Medicaid, false. 3 lies in one sentence. In fact, they will be saved from the incompetence of the Democrats. The Democrats, who have totally lost their confidence and their way, are saying whatever comes to mind, anything to win. They suffered the greatest humiliation in the history of politics, and they're desperate to get back in their game. But they won't be able to do that because their policies are so bad. In fact, they would lead to the destruction of our country, and almost did. The only cutting we will do is for waste, fraud, and abuse, something that should have been done by the incompetent radical left Democrats for the last 4 years, but wasn't. Koof says Elon's a traitor, man. Yeah, dude, I know. Elon turned on your fucking Führer, and now you're going to turn on Elon, even though he was your great savior, right? Even though he's your big, great savior. You guys you were doing tricks on Elon's cock, bro. You were being such a good boy for Elon. And then Elon talked badly about the humble leader, and you fucking Nazi fucks immediately are like, no, he's a traitor. You guys are so pathetic. It's fucking embarrassing. You guys are oxygen thieves. He's the president who betrays the president. That's crazy, bro. Hey, Koofs, what do you think about Trump tweeting that or posting this on Truth Social? What do you think about this, Koofs? There is no Joe Biden executed in 2020. Biden clones double and robotic engineered soulless, mindless entities are what you see. Democrats don't know the difference. Real quick, Koofs, do you agree with Trump? Trump says Joe Biden was executed in 2020 and that these are Biden clones, robotic engineered soulless, mindless entities. Funny. Curious how it's always a joke when he says something insane. Contract given to terror-powered but more efficient nuclear power plant that uses salt-based metals to cool the reactor? No, I did not hear about that. It's just a shitpost, man. Don't you do the same? No, and also, I'm not the president of the United States. Trump said Putin told him very strongly that he will have to respond. So where is this post? Trump, Truth Social phone call with Putin. So he wrote this on Truth Social? It's got to be somewhere. Here it is. Wait. This is 1 minute ago? Oh shit, breaking news. Okay. I just finished speaking by telephone with President Vladimir Putin of Russia. The call lasted approximately 1 hour and 15 minutes. We discussed the attack on Russia's docked airplanes by Ukraine and also various other attacks that have been taking place by both sides. It was a good conversation, but not a conversation that will lead to immediate peace. President Putin did say, and very strongly, that he will have to respond to the recent attack on the airfields. We also discussed Iran and the fact that time is running out on Iran's decision pertaining to nuclear weapons, which must be made quickly. I stated to President Putin that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, and on this I believe that we were in agreement. President Putin suggested that he will participate in the discussions with Iran and that he could perhaps be helpful in getting this brought to a rapid conclusion. It is my opinion that Iran has been slow-walking their decision on this very important matter, and we will need a definitive answer in a very short period of time. Dude, Trump is literally passing the buck to Vladimir Putin because he's such a bad negotiator. Listen, Donald Trump is famously a terrible businessman. He's not the art of the deal. He's the fart of the steel. He's one of the worst businessmen in history. He's terrible at negotiations. He bankrupted casinos. He's horrible. And Vladimir Putin knows that. Also, Trump is one of the most self-conscious people on planet Earth, right? So when Putin says, listen, Donald, I can help you come to a good conclusion with Iran. You just give me phone. You give me phone and I will make the deal for you. Trump is like, oh, thank you, Vladdy Daddy. They're so scary. The way that they talk, they're so scary. I don't want to talk to the Ayatollah. And he just passed the buck off to Russia, which he doesn't understand that Russia and Iran are literally allies. He doesn't understand that. Geez, you practice your impression, Trump. Oh, you like my impression? You think it's good? Thank you. Appreciate that, Koofs. It's cute for a lib. Thanks, bro. I'm also not a lib. I'm a socialist. Much scarier. Yeah, bro just said he's a socialist. Yeah. Actually, tonight at 7 o'clock, we're going to be watching the debate, the New York City mayoral debate between Zohran Mamdani, the socialist candidate who has 49.1% of the vote, debating Andrew Cuomo, the disgraced former governor of New York State, who also has various sexual crimes alleged against him. And yeah, Zohran Mamdani, proud socialist, is going to debate the hyper-capitalist Andrew Cuomo. We're going to be watching that live. Yeah, proud socialist here. So Chris is basically a Nazi because the Nazis were National Socialists. Therefore, he is a Nazi and a communist. Boom, you know, see the truth. Doug. Good work, Doug. You really pieced it together. Oh my God. Old New York. Save your city, baby. New York defeat communism. What? 7 o'clock p.m. is going to be, it's going to be tonight. I'm a radical centrist. This is a waste of time and energy. What is? It's basically New York is new Moscow. Absolutely, brother. You know it. You know it. Okay. I think we've got a nice little video to make here. I can't give you everything because your species would turn it into weapons beyond your imagination. Hey, look, guys, we got some 12-year-old role-playing as a fucking alien. I'm going to go fill up my water. You guys have fun with the kid. All right, I'm gonna make a video so you can ban Koofs. He'll come back with an alt at some point, but I don't want him to flood the chat while I'm recording. Have a good one, Koofs. See you once you make a new alt. Bye, Koofs. You don't have ban capabilities? How do I fix that? Let's see. Jack does. Nice. How do I give you ban capabilities? Whatever, I'll figure it out later. Alrighty. Hold on. Doug has many alts at the ready. No shot.
In Memphis, Elon Musk is making
There we go. All right. Yeah, we'll probably have a thumbie after this. We'll probably have some thumbie time. All right. Mute Steve for 20 minutes. Lil, why? Just, why don't you read out what you just said again? $10 to $30, I went with 30. Copy. All right, let's make a video. So Donald Trump tucked his fat tail between his legs and went waddle running all the way to Vladimir Putin going, Vladdy, Daddy, are you okay after Ukraine surprise drone attack? What are we gonna do? And they had this fucking hour and 15-minute long phone call where Putin said that he'll take over the deals with Iran, he'll take over the negotiations, because I know it's very hard for you, little Donnie. You've never been good business boy. You've always been carried along by the rich people surrounding you. You are a complete and total failure. You bankrupted a fucking casino. That is genuinely impressive, little Donnie. And on top of that, Zelensky is now calling out Putin. He's like, hey, Putin, I'll have a one-on-one fucking meeting with you, pussy. And Putin, being the fucking coward that he is, he absolutely refuses to do it. We're going to cover Trump's Truth Social post saying that he's always there for Vladimir Putin. And then, of course, we're going to be covering Elon Musk abandoning Trump and saying that, you know, the big, beautiful bill is an absolute disgrace and anybody who voted for it is a coward. All of that, by the way, is a distraction. Elon Musk is trying to cover up his ass and fill up news stories to make us not talk about the fact that his XAI supercomputer in Memphis, Tennessee, a primarily black area, is polluting the air and water, and it is killing people. So we're going to dive into that. I'm Chris Valenti. Welcome to the Valenti VOD. I'm your perfect and humble leader. And before we get started, I just want to remind you to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. It costs you absolutely nothing, and it helps me immensely. We're at 66.4K subscribers. I love and appreciate you all. Thank you very much. We're trying to hit 100K as soon as possible because this is real independent media, and I have no funding, okay? I've never had a conversation with an advertiser, a billionaire, government. The only way that I make my money is by you giving me money. So if you want to support the channel, become a patron on Patreon, become a member here on YouTube, buy some Valenti Videos merch down below, and use that 40% off discount code for the Vantage subscription on Ground News, also located in the description down below. Without further ado, why don't we just dive right into this article here. Putin feels he must respond to Ukraine's drone attacks, Trump warns. U.S. President Donald Trump said on Wednesday he had a, quote, good conversation with Russian President Vladimir Putin in a call about Ukraine's recent drone attack in Iran. Now, this entire article is in reference to this Truth Social post here that he made. I just finished speaking by telephone with President Vladimir Putin of Russia. The call lasted approximately 1 hour and 15 minutes. We discussed the attack on Russia's docked airplanes by Ukraine, and also various other attacks that have been taking place by both sides. It was a good conversation, but not a conversation that will lead to immediate peace. President Putin did say, and very strongly, that he will have to respond to the recent attack on the airfields. We also discussed Iran and the fact that time is running out on Iran's decision pertaining to nuclear weapons, which must be made quickly. I stated to President Putin that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, and on this, I believe that we are in agreement. President Putin suggested that he will participate in the discussions with Iran and that he could perhaps be helpful in getting this brought to a rapid conclusion. It is my opinion that Iran has been slow-walking their decision on this very important matter, and we will need a definitive answer in a very short period of time. So, what are we getting here? We're getting that Donald Trump, who just recently posted that Vladimir Putin has gone absolutely crazy and that something's wrong with Vladimir. Well, now he's begging Vladimir for some help with this Iran deal, because don't forget, Trump pulled us out of Barack Obama's Iran nuclear deal. Now, that deal, it prevented Iran from creating nuclear weapons, but it gave them permission to create nuclear energy, which is the future of energy. Well, as soon as Trump became the president, he said, well, that deal was signed by Obama, so I'm getting rid of it. And he pulled that deal. Well, if that deal is gone, the Iranians said, fuck it, let's start making nuclear weapons. Well, now Trump is realizing how massive his fuck up was, and he's trying to undo the very issue that he created in the first place. And it seems like he's already chickening out on that. And since he doesn't have the ability to actually follow through with this, he's turning to Vladimir Putin, who at the same time is just mowing his way through Ukraine and gives no fucks about what's going on. So let's read a little bit more of this article. Following Ukraine's major drone attack deep on air bases inside Russia, Trump reported that Putin told him Russia, quote, will have to respond. Trump also warned in a social media post that the phone call, which lasted more than an hour, would not, quote, lead to immediate peace. The two leaders also discussed Iran, and Putin suggested he could help with nuclear talks with the country. The conversation between the two leaders marks the first since Ukraine launched an audacious attack striking Russian air bases on June 1st, targeting nuclear-capable long-range bombers. In his post, Trump said that Putin told him, quote, very strongly that he, quote, will have to respond to recent attacks on the airfield. Also note that in that post, Trump didn't, talk back at all. You're saying that Putin says, well, I'm going to have to respond. I'm going to have to bomb the ever-loving fuck out of Ukraine. And Trump didn't even try to stop him, didn't say, you can't do that, Vlad. Trump is such a baby back bitch. It's actually fucking embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Last week, Trump appeared to set a 2-week deadline for Putin, threatening to change how the U.S. is responding to Russia if he believes Putin was still, quote, tapping him along on peace efforts in Ukraine. The comment was one of a string of public critical remarks by Trump, who earlier had said that Putin had gone absolutely crazy and is playing with fire when Russia intensified drone and missile attacks on targets in Ukraine. Trump made no mention of a deadline or his previous remarks in Wednesday's posts on his Truth Social platform. The post also comes just days after a second round of direct peace talks between the warring sides held in Istanbul ended without a major breakthrough, although the two sides agreed to swap more prisoners of war. Ukrainian negotiators said Russia rejected an unconditional ceasefire, a key demand of Kiev and its Western allies, including the U.S., not including Trump, though. The Russian team said they'd proposed multi-day ceasefires in certain areas of the front line in Ukraine. So that's literally just a way for the Russians to gain more land, because they will never respect the ceasefire. Trump had previously and repeatedly said he believes the two sides are making progress despite ongoing fighting in the front line and aerial attacks carried out by both sides. Dude, Trump is such a fucking fat, stupid idiot. Now, here's what we got with Zelensky calling out Russia. Zelensky calls Russia peace proposals an ultimatum and demands talks with Putin. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on Wednesday dismissed Russia's ceasefire proposal as an ultimatum and renewed his call for direct talks with the Russian President Vladimir Putin to break the deadlock over the 3-year war. Both sides exchanged memorandums setting out their conditions for a ceasefire for discussions at Monday's direct peace talks between delegations in Istanbul, their second meeting in just over 2 weeks. Both sides have established red lines that make any quick deal unlikely. So, and what we've seen is Zelensky has offered to, look at him, he looks so goofy there, has offered to have multiple meetings, like in-person, one-on-one meetings with Putin, but Putin is absolutely horrified of it. He's horrified that Zelensky's going to pull some crazy, fucking Bugs Bunny move and just blow everybody up, which would be fucking sick. But, excuse me. Massive burp, and a good way to shift into the next topic of conversation, which is Elon the Muskrat. Elon Musk calls Trump's tax bill a, quote, disgusting abomination. Now, before we go into this, I want to let you understand, Elon Musk is the richest man in human history. He's almost a trillionaire, and he directly benefits from the big, beautiful bill. Okay? The big, beautiful bill includes the largest tax cuts for the 1% in American history. It also includes the largest reallocation of wealth from the bottom 10% to the top 1%. So Elon, who's already received like $32 billion in government grants, he benefits immensely from everything the Trump regime does. So there has to be an explanation to what he's doing, and there's only two of them. The first explanation is that Elon is shitting all over the big, beautiful bill because he's a loser that cares about popularity, right? And money can't buy swagger, Elon, you fucking fat loser. But Elon Musk wants to be popular. We know this because he faked his gaming records on like fucking Path of Exile 2. And we know this because he tweets all day and he acts edgy and he wants to be cool and popular and loved. But everybody hates him because he's an absolute fucking nerd. The other explanation is that he's purposefully pouring gasoline on the fire and kind of throwing himself to the wolves of MAGA. And they're already calling him a traitor, and he's doing this on purpose to try and pull attention away from the much darker story, which is Elon Musk's XAI supercomputer in Memphis, Tennessee, that is using methane turbines to power itself, and it is poisoning the water and air to the point where the NAACP is issuing emergency warnings that they have to shut down the supercomputer because people can't speak, people can't breathe, the amount of smog in the air is insane. All of this is intentional. Elon Musk wants to do this in Memphis, Tennessee. He purposefully chose a predominantly black neighborhood because he is a Nazi and he was raised in apartheid South Africa, and he genuinely believes that black people are inferior to him because Elon Musk is a Nazi. So we're going to cover this real quick. First thing we're going to do is just a little bit of a coverage of this article here. Elon Musk has hit out at President Donald Trump's signature tax and spending bill, describing it as a, quote, disgusting abomination in a widening rift between the two. The tech billionaire posted on X that the bill would add to the U.S. budget deficit and saddle Americans with crushing debt. What's funny about this is saddling Americans with crushing debt. Yes, that's true. But if you think that Elon Musk will ever feel the pain of debt, you're a fucking idiot. The man is worth something like $575 billion. If you think he will ever, or any of his children, grandchildren, or great-grandchildren will ever feel the pain of monetary loss, you are stupider than everybody around you, and I hope you get the help that you need. I truly do. I truly do. The budget, which includes huge tax breaks for the rich and more defense spending, was passed by the House of Representatives last month and is now being considered by senators. Shame on those who voted for it, said Musk, hinting that he may try to unseat the politicians responsible at next year's midterm elections, which again is another problem because why the fuck should Elon Musk, a foreign-born South African apartheid billionaire, have any say in American politics? Go fuck yourself and go home. Go back to the country you fucking came from. The bill has the backing of President Donald Trump and would be the legislative linchpin of his second-term agenda if it passes Congress. Musk left the regime abruptly last week after 129 days working to cut costs with his team, known as Doge. The comments mark his first public disagreement with Trump since leaving government, after having previously called the plan, quote, disappointing. The South African-born tech billionaire's time in the Trump regime came to an end on May 31st, although Trump said that he will always be with us, helping all the way. In its current form, the bill, which Trump refers to as the big, beautiful bill, has been estimated to increase the budget deficit, the difference between what the government spends and the revenue it receives, by about $600 billion in the next fiscal year. In a series of posts on X on Tuesday, Musk said that the outrageous pork-filled spending bill will massively increase the already gigantic budget deficit to $2.5 trillion and burden American citizens with crushingly unsustainable debt. So here's the thing, a broken clock is right twice a day, and this stupid motherfucker knows exactly what he's doing. He's throwing himself to the wolves and allowing MAGA to attack him. In American politics, pork refers to spending on projects in lawmakers' constituencies. So again, here's the thing. This is all a distraction from a much bigger story, and we're going to cover this right now. This is from 2 weeks ago, and a lot of people are covering this, and I'm not the only one. And do not let this story die, guys. Comment down below. Comment down below your favorite insult for Elon Musk. What is your favorite fucking insult? What do you like to call Elon Musk? Tell me your favorite insult, okay? And I'll try to think of mine.
In Memphis, Elon Musk is making a play to control the future of artificial intelligence. His company, XAI, says it has built the biggest supercomputer in the world with lightning speed. Paul Young is the city's mayor.
It represents a tremendous opportunity, an opportunity for us to take our economy to the next level.
XAI says it will create $100 million in revenue and hundreds of jobs. But the digital future needs power. Lots of it. These are the gas turbines fueling the supercomputer they call Colossus. They emit hazardous pollutants like formaldehyde and nitrogen oxides, according to the manufacturer.
Just over this fence, you can see and hear the turbines churning 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Without them,
someone in chat just said a great name. We're calling Elon Musk the Ketamine Crusader from now on. That is, I like that one. Ketamine Crusader. Jack, try to give Nelson the power to ban people, please. I don't know how to do that.
Data center does not function. What's not in dispute is the fact that they are polluting the air. What people don't know is how much of that pollution is reaching nearby communities.
Easter Knox lives 2 miles away.
You smelled it?
Yes, Lord.
Right away? I sure did. Well, you know, after they got situated, I started smelling it.
Knox lives in Boxtown, a mostly black, low-income neighborhood in South Memphis.
The health department, they need to be ashamed.
Where industry has taken a toll for generations.
There's a lot of people out here who got medical problems like breathing issues.
Cancer risks here are 4 times higher than the national average. Cancer killed her father and other relatives, Knox tells us.
But you can't have shit in Memphis. They have been using Memphis, Tennessee as like an experimental zone for so fucking long. And they do the same goddamn thing with Flint, Michigan. They do the same thing with like Native American tribes in Nevada and New Mexico. Our government does not give a fuck about anybody with melanin. They don't give a fuck if you're Latino, if you're Native, if you're black. They don't give a shit about you.
Life expectancy here is 9 years less than the national average. Elon Musk's company is not to blame for those numbers, but that legacy and those turbines have triggered a backlash against XAI.
Hello, everyone.
A recent health department hearing turned into a shouting match. An executive from XAI ducking out a side door.
What a coward.
The mayor says the city is hoping to start testing the air in the next 2 months.
Right now, there are people in that community that feel like they have been railroaded by XAI, that they weren't a part of the conversation when it was approved, and now they're bearing the brunt of its existence.
Well, I think it's important for us to have direct dialogue. I take their concerns deeply serious.
Among their concerns, the company is running the turbines without a permit. But the health department says that's okay for the first year. And after city officials said there were...
The health department says it's okay to run methane turbines without a permit for a year. You know what I think is the funniest part about all this? Elon Musk will not be at this factory. If Elon Musk had to live in Memphis, this factory would be so much fucking cleaner. No shot he would ever subject himself to this level of air pollution. Thank you for the $5 donation, Leandre. I think the other reason he's speaking out about it is because it will phase out the IRA credit for electric vehicles and solar panels. Potentially.
Turbines. Environmental advocates released this thermal image. They say it shows twice that many active.
Holy fuck. So wait. Elon Musk is just lying to the entire government. He is putting up double the amount of methane turbines that he has reported. He does not have the permits for it, and he's just fucking churning away pollution into the air.
Like, hey, we had a conversation. What's happening with these additional ones?
So they're not using those?
No. They're in idle mode in case they are needed.
XAI declined to...
Bullshit. Who the fuck is this guy? This guy is a goddamn disgrace to the people of Memphis. He's probably getting a fucking fat check out of this. Chump change from Elon Musk, and he's gonna go on his knees and fucking thank him for it.
To be interviewed, but tells NBC News it is using pollution-minimizing technology and working with public officials to stop relying on the turbines by the end of this year. XAI has also pledged to build a water treatment facility for the city.
Elected officials are working for and conspiring with industry in order to draw profits.
Community organizer Keyshawn Pearson has lived in South Memphis most of his life. He says he is skeptical XAI will create hundreds of jobs and doubts the mayor's promise that it's...
First of all, hundreds of jobs? Brother, hundreds of jobs? There's fucking 360 million people in this nation. Who gives a fuck about hundreds of jobs? And second of all, no, he's not going to be creating jobs, especially for the people of Memphis. Fuck no, this is a goddamn XAI factory. He's gonna hire some fucking 19-year-old incel groiper who's fucking a mathematics or a coding major and pay him $400,000 a year to hack into our information and drain our social security. That's who the fuck is gonna be hired to maintain the AI fucking Tesla bot that is gonna be doing the manual labor. This is not for you. This has never been for you, MAGA voter. A union worker. You're not getting a job in the AI factory, you fucking idiots.
Tax dollars will be directed to improve these neighborhoods.
We don't want money in exchange for our lungs or in exchange for our lives. We want clean air, we want clean water, clean soil, just like everybody else.
XAI is already building a second supercomputer nearby, even bigger, that will need even more power, raising new questions and more anger among some residents, Lester.
Okay, Stephanie, thank you.
Jesus
Thanks for watching.
Christ, dude. There's a little article on this. Memphis, Tennessee. Methane gas turbines release smog-forming pollution and hazardous chemicals like formaldehyde. These pollutants are tied to increase in asthma, respiratory diseases, heart problems, and certain cancers, and are especially harmful to children. XAI's second data center is planned for South Memphis' Whitehaven neighborhood and is roughly half a mile from the homes and a school. XAI appears to have been preparing for a truly staggering number of polluting turbines for its second South Memphis data center, all while continuing to run unpermitted turbines nearby. The richest man on planet Earth is poisoning the air and water of a primarily black neighborhood, and he is doing it to power a supercomputer that he wants to use to combine his technology with Palantir and create a mass surveillance system that watches your every move and even your fucking thoughts. Welcome to the fascist states of America. I'm Chris Valenti. That's all I got for you in today's Valenti VOD. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. It costs you nothing and it helps me immensely. And please do help the channel financially in any way that you can. Do me one last favor. Click that video right over there. I promise you, it's a banger. Have a good one. Now that's a banger. And I know bangers. This is not a banger. This is not a banger. And I know bangers. Hydraulic leak going crazy in this chair. All right, you guys know what time it is? Do you guys know what time it is?
Family time. Family time.
All right, so this video was about Putin and Musk. So we're going to need Putin, Trump, and Elon. Putin, Trump, and Elon. We're going to need the supercomputer factory. No, I think we'll just, the thumbie will just do Trump and Putin. Yeah. Okay. Excuse me. Episode 139. How are you guys doing? How's everybody's day going? It's a fucking hot one today. Bro made 139 videos on Trump. Lol, wow. No, 139 videos of the Valenti VOD. It's a playlist. They're not all about Trump, but they are all about politics. I know, you guys are taking my frames left and right. It's fucked up of you. Give me my fucking frames back, you sick bastards. Average Democrat setup, dude? Yeah, bro. Average Democrat setup, 100%. Koofs needs a life? Brother, he has no family. This is the most interaction with other people that he gets. Can't blame him. All right, so what should it say? How about... Nah. How about... That's better. Yeah, Koof's made 4 accounts in the past hour. It's absolutely pathetic. But to know that I have that dedicated of a hater means I must be doing something right. Chase Gaddy just became a loyalist. Thank you very much, Chase. I appreciate that. There we go. All right, let's get this bitch uploaded. I also use Chase. Okay, and now we need a title. All right, this is episode 139. And we're going to make it... Thank you for the $5 donation, rent money from XODDIs. We're going to make it say Trump or Putin vows revenge. Trump begs him for help. Trump begs him for help. Elon is trying to distract you. Everything is crumbling around the Donald. Let's hope it... No, I can't say that. Okay. The Valenti VOD. No, it's not made for kids. No, there is no AI in this. Monetization, ad rolls, sensitive issues, add an end screen, I just want to hear how it plays off the rip. So Donald Trump, perfect timing with it. Okay. And publish. Putin vows revenge. Trump begs him for help. Elon is trying to distract you. The Volante Vod, episode 139. Publish. Hell fucking yeah. Video is up and running, ladies and gentlemen. The video is up and running. I aspire to be like you. Thank you for all your contributions to the truth. Thanks, righteous savior. I'm just a fucking douchebag with a Logitech camera and a Shure microphone that majored in history and minored in political science, and I do really badly want to have a family, and I want to be a father. And all of the dreams that I have of wanting to have a child and raising a family cannot happen in a fascist nation. It just simply can't happen if I have to teach them about their dictator and I have to have a picture of Trump on the wall, and I can't do it. So, you know, you gotta fight, you gotta fight, you gotta fight, you gotta fight, you gotta fight. You gotta fight. You gotta fight. Tatakai wanai to katanai. Tatakai. Tatakai. Chris, do you think there will be an election in 2028? At the rate that we're going now, no. Trump needs to be removed from office by 2027 if you want to have an election in 2028. But yeah, that's up. Why hasn't impeachment worked? Because impeachment does not remove somebody from office. If you're impeached, and Donald Trump has been impeached twice, it is customary for you to step down from office. That's what Richard Nixon did. And Bill Clinton, he stepped down before he was impeached. That's just what you do. Donald Trump is the first president in American history to be impeached and not step down, and he was impeached twice, and he still didn't step down. The only possible way to physically remove him from office is to invoke the 25th Amendment, which would need every single member of his cabinet to vote on. And he purposefully surrounded himself with yes men and sycophants and loyalists like Marjorie Taylor Greene or RFK Jr. or Linda McMahon people, Pete Hegseth, people who will simply never, ever, 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 ever vote to remove him from office. Oh, look at this. Fox News claiming that a protester had contact with Hamas. I want to see this. I love seeing how Fox News spins this. Hold on.
So you look at the protests on college campuses, and they say the same thing that these protesters said.
This is not a protest on a college campus, by the way. This is footage of the fucking terrorist in Boulder, Colorado, who's setting people on fire. This is not a college campus.
That mutant that shot the couple in D.C. That
what do you call him, a mutant?
That shot the couple. Protesters said that mutant that shot the couple in D.C. that shed, free Palestine. Then you find out about the protesters, and you say, were these all students at Columbia last year and a few months ago? And the answer is no. For example, the cover of the New York Post, you could see it now. If not, I'll hold it up, has a 20-year-old, and this 20-year-old was on campus creating havoc, saying anti-Semitic phrases, punching Jewish kids in the face, and he is directly contacted and supported by Hamas overseas. He has the flag over him. He's been arrested, I assume going to be deported, if not jailed here, and he was part of the unrest. College age, but not a college kid.
Yeah, which means that every single person who has ever said free Palestine must be a terrorist. Right, Fox News? Right?
up in Columbia.
Jew hater contemplating setting a student on fire. Direct links to Hamas. He was chatting with this Hamas group on social media. Awaits trial. Indicted on 3 federal hate crimes against Jewish people and wore a green headband worn by Hamas.
And a mask.
So after October 7th, the show sent me to all these college campuses. And I'm asking all these students who are protesters, they say they're protesters, you know, about October 7th. What about what they did to babies? What about the hostages? And they're all denying it. We're like, man, they sound like little Hamas, right?
Who the fuck denies what happened on October 7th? I don't believe this guy for a fucking second, bro. I've been in the Free Palestine movement since day one. I don't know anybody who has ever denied what happened on October 7th happened. One thing that I have heard, and I firmly believe, is that Israel was fully capable of preventing and stopping that attack before it got completely and totally insane. But they allowed it to happen in order to give themselves the ammunition needed to go full throttle on the Gazan population. That is not only plausible, but it is probable. I mean, America did that with Pearl Harbor. We did that with 9/11. Israel has done that before. This is not insane.
Well, come to find out, they are. A lot of the leaders are. Now, there are some naive kids, but I think we've got to be smarter as a country. Either we're going to be little Gaza or we're going to be America. But we can't have people going down Midtown Manhattan or going downtown where they attack the towers with keffiyehs with the flags of Hamas calling for a caliphate.
They attack the towers. All right, so this guy's dead ass just immediately comparing all Palestinians, or even not even Palestinians, people who protest for Palestine, he's comparing them to Al-Qaeda. He's comparing them to Bin Laden. Immediately. Fucking, this guy's been talking for less than 60 seconds, and he already brought up 9/11.
It just doesn't make any sense. And we keep saying First Amendment, First Amendment, First Amendment. Where do we draw the line? If the people...
You hear that? Hey, MAGA. Hey, Fox News. Hey, MAGA, people who love Fox News. He just said First Amendment, First Amendment, First Amendment. Where do we draw the line? Hey, where's the come and take it crowd? I thought you guys were constitutionalists. I thought you guys believed that it was written by God. You fucking idiots.
Sound like terrorists are saying that they want to destroy the country. Shouldn't we be able to arrest them? I think yes.
Former Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice, who teaches at Stanford and is running the Hoover Institute, said this about what she's seeing at elite institutions.
Let me say, universities have made a lot of mistakes, including in the way that reacting to October 7th. You know, our kids chant from the river to the sea. Some of them don't know from what river to what sea. And so we have failed in terms of educating them about the Middle East, educating them about history, where we still talk about oppressors and oppressed, colonizers and colonized. The scientific research base of the United States of America is the research university. We made that decision 80 years ago. We don't have a plan B. And so I am a major believer in making sure that we are able to continue the kind of research that produced the stem cell revolution, that produced actually at Stanford.
Well, you stupid bitch. Donald Trump and his regime are going to prevent all of that research by forcing any universities who do not crack down on these quote-unquote anti-Israeli protesters. Well, he's going to withhold those universities from federal funding for their medical research. So, make a fucking choice.
For the double helix that produced the heart transplant. We just have to make sure, especially at a time when we are being challenged by China along the technological front.
Dr. Rice is totally right, Brian, and she makes a strong case. But universities have to decide. Either they're going to commit themselves to the research and saving lives, or they're going to commit themselves to the anti-American Hamas rhetoric going after Jews on college campuses. But either you want to be activists or you want to be scientists. But you can't...
You hear that? Either you want to be activists or you want to be scientists. So if you want to come to the United States and you want to have a good education and you want to become a scientist, keep your fucking mouth shut. Support the fucking State Department. Be a good little fucking immigrant and stay in line. That's the message from Fox News. That's the message from Fox News.
Can't do both and get our money.
Yeah, they're all complaining. You're taking away our research money, cancer research. Then don't be silent about this. Silence leads to violence. If you want that money, you got to follow the law. You can't allow terrorism to happen on your campus.
And don't sue the president. You sued the president, double and triple and down. Now you're going through the courts. Now it's a brawl. So that's what the president, that's what the former.
So if you sue the president, you're going to lose federal funds. That's not a president. You live in a dictatorship. You live in a and also there are tens of millions of subhuman, inferior MAGA fucking rats who are gonna watch this and cheer. They go, yeah, yeah. They listen to this last part here. They listen to this last part and they go, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Violence leads to violence. If you want that money, you got to follow the law. You can't allow terrorism to happen on your campus.
And don't sue the president. You sued the president, double and triple and down. Now you're going through the courts. Now it's a brawl. So that's what the president, that's what the former Secretary of State said.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian.
Disgusting pieces of shit. This video is called "A DOJ Campus Protester Had Contact with Hamas" from Fox News. Let's see what the comments are like. We really need to take this seriously. Arrest, deport, repeat. These protesters are not kids. They are full-grown adults. They should be treated accordingly. And this is why Trump is pulling funding. This is just one example. America for Americans. That also means those that want to be here and be Americans. Throw the rest of the crap out and make English the official language. These people are inferior. These people are inferior. They are oxygen thieves. They are wastes of space. Oh my God. $20 donation from Allie. Chris, you're a mensch. I applaud your ceaseless efforts. Keep up the spirited dissent. God bless you. Thank you, Allie. I really do appreciate that. I've got a fucking hydraulic leak in my goddamn chair, and I fucking hate it. I'm going to Brian Kilmeade. Oh. Anyway. Oh. All right, guys, I'm going to end the stream because I got to take a break, and we're going to be live again at around 6:45 to 7 p.m. That's when we're going to start because we're going to go live watching Zohran Mamdani debate Andrew Cuomo, disgraced former governor Andrew Cuomo. In the New York City mayoral debate at around 7 o'clock p.m. So make sure that you are, make sure you got notifications on. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the noti bell, do all the shit that you're supposed to do. Buy some merch. I've been not selling any merch. No one's buying merch, so go buy some merch. We need more sales and need more money. Become a member, become a patron. Guys, I have the Valenti Bros show. It's just me and my brother. You can only access that show if you are a member or a patron. So become a member or a patron. Go give us some love on that Valenti Bros show, all right? I'll catch you later, guys. Have a good one. Noties don't work? No, guys, here's the thing. On YouTube, you can only get 3 notifications from a content creator every 24 hours. That is it. After that, you can get no more notifications. It's got to refresh. It's got to refresh. It's got to refresh. All right, everybody.